All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Gilmore from the National Weather Service here again. Going to be updating you about the upcoming cold and winter weather potential we have coming up here in a little bit. So we got a couple of changes today. We're going to kind of go over all of them. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer Facebook Live just because there's a lot to talk about. Like I said, a lot of cold, a lot of winter weather ahead, so we'll go ahead and basically just go ahead and get started. I do want to make a quick note, however. If at any point you lose connection during this Facebook Live, refresh your stream. Sometimes our connection may not be the best here too. We may have a little bit of a hiccup, but if we lose something here locally, we'll make sure to come right back immediately. But if you're having problems, refresh your stream. Sometimes that happens, and we'll make sure we get everybody to listen to all these important updates. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead, like we always do, for every one of these updates, is show you what's going on outside of the window. Let's see if we can show you the latest temperatures. These are the current temperatures across the area. So it's a little bit different of a start because it is nice and warm, and people outside across southeast Louisiana are wondering, cold weather, winter weather, what? Where's that? Well, I can show you where it's at, but first, I want to say that the highs today were very impressive. We had highs today in the mid to upper 70s. Baton Rouge had a high of 78. Yeah, hard to imagine we got cold air coming, but if we zoom out here, and I'm going to kind of show you a big picture of where some of the cold air is, there it is. It's across the central and northern United States. Is our Arctic cold front that is on the doorstep. It will be through here a little bit later today into tonight and pass through here. And tomorrow you'll notice it's going to be a lot more chilly. You'll definitely notice that cold air is here, and then we have a lot more cold air coming up. And it's going to be very cold into Monday night, and then Sunday night into Monday night. And then that'll kind of prime us to get us ready for what we could be experiencing, some winter weather across the area. So let's go ahead and take this step by step and go to the latest images we have here. Oh yeah, you know I got to show this one every time. Again, remember where you are on a map. It's very important because I'm going to be showing you a lot of maps here, more than I showed you yesterday as a little bit of a teaser. So know where you're at, know your location on a map, your city, your parish, or county. And again, remember that we are one of 122 offices in the National Weather Service that cover southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. For neighboring offices, which I do have to emphasize, are expecting impacts just as much as we are, including Lake Charles, Mobile, and even Jackson, Mississippi. If you're watching from our neighboring offices, please follow them for the latest forecast information pertaining to that local area. So, if you remember this from yesterday, we updated this today to kind of talk about the hazards broken down day by day. And again, I apologize. I know there's a lot on here, but that's because there's a lot of active weather around the corner. So, taking it day by day, like I mentioned before, the cold front's going to be coming through tonight, and tomorrow's going to be colder and breezy. Highs only in the 40s, wind chills 25 to 35. Monday, well, I should say first, Sunday night into Monday is going to be our first in a series of very cold mornings. We could have wind chills around 10 to 20 in the early morning hours Monday morning. Highs only reaching the upper 30s to lower 40s. Now, if there's any good news, I try and search and find good news here, but the sun will be out on Monday as far as what they have at the current forecast. So the sun will be out, but even with the sun out, it's going to be very cold. And then clouds will be increasing, and then we'll have another very cold morning, a Monday night and a Tuesday morning, and that's going to be right ahead of where we're expecting major to extreme impacts from winter weather, which we're going to talk a lot more about coming up. And then beyond that, yes, we are expecting impacts to expand into Wednesday and possibly as late as a Thursday from the winter weather. That's just because look at those highs there, 35 to 40 for a high. Overnight lows in the teens to 20s. That's not going to melt the snow away fast enough. That's why we could have lingering weather impacts Wednesday into Thursday. Before we get into Friday, maybe we'll start to warm up. And I use the term warm up very loosely there, but hopefully we'll get into the 40s, maybe lower 50s. And I should say, I was going to save this for the end, but I'll go ahead and say this now. As we get to the weekend, maybe we'll warm up even more. So really the bulk of the cold air is what you see here, pretty much Sunday through Thursday, and probably backing off a little bit when we get into Friday. So let's go ahead and break this down. I think yesterday we broke it down by hazard, by day, but now we're going to break it down by hazard and first actually talk about the cold weather first. We want people to not forget about this. We don't want people to pay too much attention to the snow and the ice. I know that's a very major concern, but the cold weather is a very major concern as well. And these are your forecast low temperatures on the left and your minimum wind chills on the right Monday morning. So Sunday night into Monday morning, look at those values. Wow, low to mid 20s, 28 New Orleans. Wind chill for New Orleans, 18. Now, I should mention that these minimum wind chills on the right are primarily going to be in those morning hours, early morning hours, Monday morning. It'll be breezy, and with a temperature of 28 degrees, that'll give you a calculated wind chill of 18. 11 McCombs, so very dangerous. This is going to be the first morning that we want people to really put those precautions in place. That's Sunday night and a Monday morning time frame. Now, people wonder this too. We get this question a lot. How long will it be below freezing? Well, this is how long it's going to be below freezing during the day on Monday. So starting from early morning Monday all the way to Monday night. For that 24-hour time frame, how many hours are we going to be seeing 32 or lower on the left? 10 hours for New Orleans, 18 for Macomb. And on the right is hours 25 degrees or lower. 12 a.m. Monday through 12 a.m. Tuesday, same 24-hour time frame. Wow, 25 or less for 10 hours for Macomb. That's pretty impactful there, and that's putting it lightly. That's impactful. So that's why we have these. We have a cold weather advisory in effect for this Monday morning time frame. Again, that's for the entire area because this is going to be the first in a series of cold mornings. Tuesday. Forecast low temperatures. This is going to be Tuesday morning on the left and those min wind chills on the right, teens for pretty much the entire area. And then I kind of highlighted a little bit something extra there on the low temperatures. That's actually showing you that everywhere where you see that yellow line and then north of that could likely be below freezing all day long. That's, oh wow, that's cold. We've had some days like this in the past, but they're pretty isolated and rare. But for us here locally, again, low 20s, maybe mid 20s for southwest Mississippi can be expected. I don't want to say warmer for New Orleans because you will be below freezing, but 31 degrees for the South Shore. We could likely see, or I should say will likely see a freeze for the South Shore areas Tuesday morning. Now, another point of interest is this is Tuesday. This is going to be at the same time we're going to be seeing that it could be snow and maybe rain, snow, or ice mix moving in from the west or these early morning hours. And that's why we have a concern. If we have precipitation moving into the area with temperatures near these values, that's a real problem. And that's why we're going to be talking about that winter weather coming up in a little bit. How many hours below freezing? Well, almost pretty much 24 hours for parts of the northern portions of the area. 14 hours below freezing for New Orleans. That's impressive. And then hours 25 or lower to the right there. Again, southwest Mississippi really in the bullseye for getting a lot of that really bulk of that cold air. Now, Wednesday, after all that snow has fallen, all the winter weather has passed by this point. Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning, it's out of here. What's going to be left could be a ground snow cover for a lot of locations, especially for areas that saw the more amount of snow. And if that's the case, some of these temperatures you see here could be met or could be slightly colder than what we're actually showing you. 17 Baton Rouge, 24 New Orleans. That's cold. And those min wind chills, I'm getting chills even looking at it. We got 6 Macomb, 9 Baton Rouge early in the morning. So if it's blowing off of that snow on the ground, we got those breezy winds and temperatures in the teens. That's going to be brutally cold. 14. It's going to feel like 14 Wednesday morning in New Orleans. So that is very, very cold. And then the total amount hours below freezing, 18 hours below freezing for New Orleans, 20 for Baton Rouge. That is really cold there. 16 for Macomb, hours below 25 or lower, which is again very cold. And then we actually had to extend into Thursday because some of these latest model guidance values are coming in even colder for Thursday now. So there's your forecast low temperatures on the left for Thursday morning, so Wednesday night and a Thursday morning, and wind chills. If there's one note that you kind of pick up here, notice that the wind chills are very close to the temperatures. And why is that? That's because the winds are going to back down some, and that's great news. So really the wind chills close to the temperature mean we don't have a lot of wind. It's still cold. I mean, 16 Macomb is cold, But 29 New Orleans is cold, but we're not seeing those really frigid wind chills like we saw Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So Thursday, the wind should back up a little bit, but still going to be cold. And again, this will continue even into Friday morning, but it won't be as cold. There should be a freeze for maybe northern areas on Friday morning. But again, that's what we're talking about earlier. We'll see that warming trend. And these are the hours below freezing too. Can't forget that. Still extended period duration. I did want to mention, if you were to add all these up, we were seeing some of those earlier today, seeing over 60 to 70 hours total of below freezing temperatures for northern portions of the area. That's the Florida parishes, which is north of I-10-12 to southwest Mississippi, 60 to 70 hours below freezing. And that could be very damaging, especially even to agriculture as well. So that's why we always say this. We repeat this all the time, and guess what? I'm going to repeat it again. Protect the 4 Ps. That's people. Make sure you check on the elderly and the other vulnerable population to make sure they're okay. What we always like to say is just spread the word. Let people know what's coming. Make sure they're aware of this. Pets, please do not forget our best friends. They are our best friends, and we want to make sure that they are warm. Make sure they have any type of shelter. If you please try to bring them inside, but if you can't, make sure they have adequate shelter. Make sure they have fresh food and water that is not frozen. If you take them outside, limit their time outside and bring them right back in as soon as you can. Pipes, this is the type of cold you're going to have to really wrap your pipes, maybe add a little bit of a drip to it. If you live in an elevated home or any home on stilts, you're going to have to definitely take those precautions because your pipe's going to be exposed to these types of elements. And then plants too. If you have sensitive plants, cover them. If you have potted plants, bring them inside. So those are your 4 Ps, and those are going to be the ones we're going to have to really focus on for the next several days. And if you have to go out in this, and I know people don't want to go out in this, I don't want to go out in this, it's just so cold. Just remember the dress in layers, cover any exposed skin, because those wind chills are going to be very, very, very dangerous. You can quickly lead to hypothermia in this type of a cold weather environment if you're not taking the appropriate precautions. And what do you wear? I should point everything to the right there. We're talking about extreme cold is on the horizon, and that's the type of clothing you need to be wearing. That's multiple layers, gloves, a hat, a face mask, things like that to protect yourself from those winds and those cold temperatures. Okay. Cold weather, we covered it. Now we're going to cover the winter weather. The first thing I need to mention is since yesterday we have issued a winter storm watch for all the counties and parishes that you see there in blue to the left. There's your what, your when, and your safety. Everything you need to know. What we're currently anticipating is around 1 to 3 inches of snow and a low chance of ice near and south of that white dotted line you see on the map on the left. North of that, around 3 to 6 inches of snow could be expected. Now, there could be changes as we get a little bit closer. As I mentioned yesterday, there's going to be small adjustments with this. Again, this is going to be primarily, the timeline is late Monday, so pretty late Monday night, getting into Tuesday morning. It's going to be the onset, the start to this. Everything's going to be coming in from the west, building up towards the east. So if you're watching, if you got your radar and you're watching, you'll see this building in from the west and spreading over the area. Again, there could be updates to this. There could be upgrades to this. If we go winter weather advisory, that could be possible. We may go winter storm warning for some of these areas too, once we get a little bit closer to that day. How much snow are we going to be seeing out of this? Okay, so to the left is your most likely snow amounts. That is our forecast values of snow. You see generally 3 inches of snow from New Orleans and out. I do have to emphasize, do not get so stuck on these one particular values. When we're saying 3 inches of snow, it could be 1 or 2, or it could be 4 or 5. Okay, we're not that certain yet on exact totals. That's why we're trying to kind of advertise ranges like what I just showed you with the slide previous to this. But the one thing we can say with greater confidence is that the chance for higher totals are for that northwestern areas. That really hasn't changed ever since we started these Facebook Lives yesterday. We were talking about that the greater chances are to the northwest with some of those higher probabilities. To the right is your high-end snow amounts. This is a 10% chance, a low 10% chance of seeing these values or exceeding them. Do not focus too much on these numbers. I know we're seeing 9 inches Baton Rouge, 10 inches Macomb. It's just telling us that the model guidance is saying that that potential is there. That could be the range of some of the higher end values of what we could see, and that's impactful. I don't care where you're from, that's impactful, especially for down here in Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So hopefully we don't see that much, but be aware that that could be a possibility, and there's all your key messages in the middle. just be sure to just be prepared in this case. You know, if you have to travel, please, I would really advise not to in this type of a situation, because roads are going to be very much dangerous, excessively dangerous. We have a lot of bridges down here in southeast Louisiana, and those bridges freeze very fast and can accumulate the snow to where you cannot travel over them. So plan accordingly and be prepared. Now, yes, there has been some talk of ice. Now, this is a little bit of a lower confidence portion of the forecast. Freezing rain there could be a little bit of a transition zone between that snow and the rain. It's probably going to be more rain out in the Gulf, but there could be a transition zone of some freezing rain, and to a lesser extent, and or some sleet. And those areas are going to be the locations that have the chance of seeing that are going to be in those yellow colors. So first on the left is the most likely ice forecast. Yes, it's a little splotchy, but that's because, you know, it may be really not that much. We're talking 1/100th of an inch is really what we call a glaze of ice, and then maybe upwards of a tenth. That won't cause really significant impacts. That could cause slippery bridges and roadways, but as far as people saying being concerned about bringing down tree limbs, we're not too certain about that amounts, because this is a low chance. And on the right is the low chance of ice totals reaching upwards of a 1/4 inch for Houma. So if anything we can take away from this is that the better chance for freezing rain or accumulating ice is primarily going to be that southern Atchafalaya Basin. So like Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes, getting to like Napoleonville, also New Iberia, Lafayette, and then it could get into New Orleans, but again, we're going to have to really keep a close eye on that, and then possibly over to coastal Mississippi. But if there's anything we're getting an idea of from this air mass, is that it could be more snow than anything. But be aware that that is a possibility, that ice going across the southern portions of southeast Louisiana and possibly getting into coastal Mississippi. So where are we in this the timeline of preparations? We are to your left right there. We're a few days out, and there's everything you need to be doing. Have an emergency supplies. Check your smoke detectors. You remember me saying that yesterday? Also check your carbon monoxide detectors. All these smoke detectors have these little testing buttons. You hit them. If you're not sure, change the batteries. And also, you may want to fuel your car up, and you just make sure that if you have any type of portable heaters, that they're within 3 feet of anything that could catch on fire. So make sure they're out in the middle, away from anything. And just, again, now's the time to kind of gather your supplies. And then we'll update this as the day before. That's when we're going to have to kind of take more of the actionary plans. And then during and after, we'll talk about that when we get there. I know we've been getting this question a lot about what's the most recent snowfall we've had. Wow, I mean, you took a look at Macomb and going across Baton Rouge, Gulfport, and New Orleans. It's been a long time since we've seen accumulating snow. And if this forecast verifies, it's been a long time since we've seen snowfall totals of this amount. There's a lot of people who have not lived here in some of these more historic snowstorms, okay? I've been here personally in the last 7 years and have seen some snow, but not a lot. And so I may not be used to it down here. Other people you may know may not be used to this. That's why it's important to get that word out there. Let people know what's coming, what's that potential for what you could be seeing here when we come up on Tuesday. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Let me just actually go back one more time, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions about how much snow are we going to receive and everything. There's your snow map on the left. I'm going to leave this up just for another 30 seconds, just in case you're not sure of your local area. Just be aware, again, we could have several inches of snow and maybe even some ice to deal with on Tuesday. And really, Tuesday is just the type of day we say this a lot, hunker down. Just hunker down, stay inside, watch a movie, that type of thing. But I understand, too, people have to get out in this. They have to. There's people who have to get to their jobs or any other type of situation. But if you have to, please exercise extreme caution. Be aware that there could be road closures out of this. Actually, there will likely be road closures out of this. So we'll go ahead and pretty much end it there. It looks like we did pretty good. I was hoping to get this done before 6 o'clock. Again, we'll try and keep these going as much as we can, but if we don't do them, just be aware to follow us on our website. Also, I wanted to also show you something here too, our webpage. If you go to our webpage, weather.gov/New Orleans, or LIX, which is our identifier, go to our webpage. We're posting everything up on there. Everything you can see is up on here. We got all the things here. Everything I just showed you is on this webpage, and we update this as much as we can, okay? There's that same graphic that I just showed you. If you come down here, this is your point and click forecast weather map, okay? This shows you all of the advisories, warnings, or watches that are in effect for our local area that I just showed you. If you want local forecast area pertaining to your location, say that I live in Hammond. I'm going to click Hammond, and it takes you to your forecast. It shows you all your hazardous weather conditions that are in effect for your local area, what's your current conditions, and here's your forecast for the next several days. Okay, this is a forecast that we update multiple times a day, and especially with this storm system coming up, we're going to be updating it a lot. Okay, so we're going to make sure that you have the most accurate information so that you can make the best decisions for your everyday life. So again, I just wanted to kind of show that there too real quick, just so you're aware that we are updating this a lot here in the next several days. So again, we'll end it there. We'll be providing you more information. We'll hopefully see more confidence when we see these more model guidance come in here the next day or two. And again, for this far out, this is a pretty high confident forecast. I would say medium to high confidence was a lot of this cold, especially the cold is an extremely high confidence. That we know is coming, and we know it's going to be extremely cold. The winter weather, we still have to kind of resolve a little bit of the better model guidance, and when we do, our confidence will then follow suit with that, and we'll be able again to let you know everything you need to know about this upcoming snow, especially if there's any changes. If there's any changes, if the totals are going up a little bit more, we'll let you know here first. And again, I want to also say a big thank you to all the broadcast meteorologists out there who are doing a great job messaging this. They're helping us out, push that message out. They're doing a fantastic job, and we just want everyone to be safe is all. We just don't want anyone to get hurt or anyone get caught out in this cold, because like I said before, it's going to be very dangerous. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Yeah, everybody please stay safe, and we'll be sure to update you next time. So y'all take care and stay warm here in the next few days, and we'll catch you back next time. Y'all take care.